Hi guys, it's Evan Khan with Gazap Hope and Healing, here to offer a webinar including recommendations on managing anxiety right before the bar.
We're excited to share some information about test anxiety and some tips that we have about things you can do before, during, and after the bar to feel and do your best. We have not taken the bar, so we are offering more of a psych approach to this topic. We also consulted online resources and talked to some experts with the universities to gain more information.
We will begin by exploring what test anxiety is and how it can feel. Test anxiety is a type of performance anxiety which is focused on failing to perform well on a test. Test anxiety can show up as a physical symptoms such as headaches, nausea, shortness of breath, or lightheadedness. Anxiety can feel like fear, worry, or just being generally unsettled. These feelings can negatively affect your ability to do well on a test, even if you know the material.
Yeah, and you may wonder, is test anxiety ever a good thing? As you can see on this diagram, a little bit of anxiety before a test can be a good thing. You can see in the blue area called optimal performance that there is a certain amount of stress that can be useful to us. If you weren't concerned at all about the test, you wouldn't study.
Perfect. That's really important information that we have about test anxiety that will hopefully be useful for you guys taking the bar. Now, we can get some recommendations that we have for things that you could be doing right now in the immediate weeks before the bar.
Our first one is all about being fully prepared for the bar. This includes continuing to follow recommendations that your program and has set out for a study schedule and topics. This goes hand in hand with reflecting on what has been working for you so far, both during your prep and during previous exams, and building on that. It's also important right now to continue familiarizing yourself with the timing and the format of the bar itself.
Agreed. And then as the exam day gets closer, we recommend that you gather all the materials that you will need for the test day. This includes scrap paper for the applicable sections and prepping lunches and snacks ahead of time. Another big one is having the tech support number handy.
Oh, good call. As much as we hope nothing goes wrong on test day, it's so important to hope for the best but prepare for the worst.
Yes, definitely. So now we're going to talk about some self-care tips we have for before the exam. We actually have a whole webinar on this, which can be found on our YouTube page, but we wanted to take a moment and highlight some important tips for right before the bar.
Yep, we have a lot of good tips in that webinar. Some things that we think are important to remember now are making sure your physical space is comfortable, taking time before the exam to clear off and prepare your desk, and even the room you'll be testing in can help you feel refreshed and prepared.
The last tip that we have is super important, establishing a healthy sleep routine. The three areas within sleep that we're going to offer tips in are daytime behavior, nighttime habits, and pre-sleep routine. Khan, can you start with daytime behavior?
Yes, it seems quite obvious, but the behaviors that you engage in during the day influence how well you sleep at night. Some tips that we have include waking up around the same time every day, reducing naps, although if you do take a nap, it's recommended that's about 20 minutes long and occurs 10 to 9 hours after waking up. Other tips include regulating your body by staying active and getting some sun, limiting doing work in bed so your brain associates your bed with sleep only, and finally, limiting your caffeine intake.
Wow, those are all really great tips, Khan. The one that stood out to me the most is waking up at the same time every day. Establishing a routine like that helps me feel in control and ready for my day. Also, it could be useful for people studying for the bar to start building this routine now so that the night before the exam, they're feeling even more rested.
Very true. Can you share about nighttime habits?
Happily. So the first tip is actually just like my favorite one from earlier, but this time it's about going to bed around the same time. This tip can includes creating a wind down routine, which is especially important when you're preparing for something like the bar. Establishing a set routine can help you step back from studying and really get ready for a good night's sleep, and that can even make you feel more ready for a test day.
Finally, we have the pre-sleep routine. This includes limiting technology and screens, engaging in rest-promoting activities like meditation, deep breathing, and progressive muscle relaxation, or reading a book that's not related to the bar. Eve, what do you think? What do you do when you can't fall asleep?
Oh, so sometimes I try counting backwards from 300 by threes. This can help me stop worrying about anything on my mind. Khan, do you have any other ideas for when somebody just can't fall asleep?
Yep, I know when I can't fall asleep, I experience a lot of annoyance and frustration when I notice that some time has passed and I still haven't fallen asleep and keep checking the clock. I find that to be a good time to get out of bed instead of getting stuck in the frustration and do something relaxing for 20 minutes before trying to get back into bed. Getting back in bed will signal to your brain that it's time for sleep.
That's a super useful tip. So that's actually all we have for prepping for the test, but we want you guys to remember that we aren't the experts. I'm sure there are a lot of important things that you should be doing to prepare that we just don't know about. So making sure that you're taking time to reflect on things can help you make you feel your best and your most prepared.
Yes, thanks for sharing that reminder. The next area we want to address is tips we have for during the bar. Eve?
Yeah, so begin by staying positive. You've worked so hard to get here and you deserve to do well. As you're logging on to take the test, take 3 deep breaths. This can help you get in the right mindset and be more prepared for the moment. When you have your materials, read the directions carefully. A lot of times, the errors we make on tests aren't because we don't know the material, but more because we didn't understand the directions.
Yeah, so true. Not just for the bar, but for any test. Once you've read the directions, begin answering what you can. Depending on what part of the test you're on, and you all certainly know better than we do, this could look like an outline or answering the multiple choice questions. If you are having difficulty with a particular question and find yourself spending too much time on it, feel free to flag it and go back.
Good point. If you're feeling stuck, use the process of elimination and make an educated guess if necessary. Trust yourself. Another idea I have is to actively notice the questions that you're more comfortable and confident with um, in order to help yourself not getting hung up on a tough question. Our emotions often lead our attention and memory to focus on what's going wrong instead of what's going right. So focus on your successes to counteract that.
Great points. Finally, do your best to stay focused. Maybe some gum, candy, water, or coffee handy to help you perk up. Sometimes graduates taking the bar experience difficulty in the last 10 or so questions leading up to the break. So when you do notice that your concentration is dipping, it may be a good idea to take a moment and regroup. You can even try taking a few deep centering breaths. Additionally, some people may find it useful to have an internal mantra, and some good ones are refocus, dig deep, and finish strong.
Okay, so finally, the night before between the two test days, it can be helpful to do a light review, 1 to 2 hours max. It's actually generally recommended that you try not to learn new material that night, but it could be useful to review a few rules. Making sure you prioritize your self care that night and do things that will make you feel refreshed and ready to do your best on day 2. In fact, if you can afford it, consider getting your hotel room to refocus and relax.
And in our research, we learned that you get two 30-minute breaks, and another break that is an hour and a half each day for lunch.
Yes. So, with that being said, we would love for you all to take a moment right now to reflect on the 30-minute breaks. Consider the space that you'll be in on test days and think about what will make you feel refreshed and ready to continue. Will a snack make you feel your best? Or maybe you want to plan for a quick walk to get outside. These breaks are so important. Thinking about them now can help you feel ready and do your best on test day.
Very true. And then a recommendation for the lunch break is to again take a moment right now to decide what you're going to have for lunch on both the test days. Think of a meal that you really enjoy and which will make you feel refreshed and ready to continue. Commit now to preparing your lunch the night before so you can optimize the lunch break.
Yes, it's so important to fuel your body for something like this. So that's all we have for during the test. The last area we want to address is for right after the test.
Yep. When you are completely done with both test days, relax. Take some much needed time to do things you enjoy, such as socializing, hobbies, exercise, and anything else. You've earned it.
Yes, especially since everyone taking the bar may have been neglecting these things for a little bit to prioritize studying. I definitely agree, Con. They deserve to reward themselves.
Yes. The next thing is to control what you can. We know how important the results are, but we implore you to do what you can to not worry about the results for now. You did your best. You did the best you could.
That's so true. I would imagine that some mindfulness exercises would be useful in helping to reduce anxiety and worrying about the results. We have a lot of really good ones on our YouTube channel, including ones that are made just for you guys.
Yes. And the final idea want to share with you is called catastrophizing. Eve, can you share what that is?
Certainly, catastrophizing is a tendency that we naturally have of going through the same negative thoughts over and over again without being able to control them.
Exactly. In order to break the cycle of catastrophizing, you can practice noticing and labeling your thoughts and realizing that although these thoughts are understandably distressing, they're not necessarily a reflection of your true abilities or your actual chances of passing.
That's a great way to handle it. And that's all we have for this webinar. Here is the email, which you can use to contact us.
We also have information about COVID-19 in the description, as well as a link which you can use to request a confidential individual check-in.
Our next and final webinar in this series, and it's on what to do after the bar, which will be included in the Students Taking the Bar playlist on our channel.
The Center for Psychological Services of the Rutgers Graduate School of Applied and Professional Psychology, in collaboration with the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Mental Health and Addiction Services, Disaster and Terrorism Branch, offers this crisis counseling program through a Federal Emergency Management Agency grant. This program is brought to you through the New Jersey Hope and Healing Crisis Counseling Program.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.